Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Podcast. I'm Mike Stansbury. I have a special guest today, Mr. Chris Jansen. Chris, how are you, sir?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you doing today?
Man, awesome. I wish I was in California. Well, that's where you're at. I'm in Memphis, Tennessee, which is just a little less cool than California. But guys, what's that? Say that again.
Upper 80s today.
Upper 80s today.
This weekend.
Yep. Yeah, we just got a lot of humidity and not so much fun right now, and no beach to look at in Memphis. We got the river, which is fun. But folks, want to tell you that Investor Fuel, we help real estate investors, service providers, and real estate entrepreneurs 2 to 5x their businesses to allow them to build the businesses they've always wanted and allow them to live the lives they've always dreamed of. Chris, so you're in real estate. You're, one of the things I like about this is you're doing this. This is kind of a part-time but a full-time kind of gig that you're doing. Tell me, how did you get started? What was the origin story of how you even began the process of investing in real estate?
Yeah, thanks for asking. Well, back in 2020, COVID, I started working from home, and I was all excited to work from home, and that excitement quickly died down. I got really bored. I was living by myself and started reading up on investments, dabbled in the stock market a little bit. But the issue I ran into with that for me is I got really emotionally attached to a lot of the stocks, and, they would go up, and then I'd get fear of missing out, and I'd buy it high, and then it'd start to go down, and then I'd sell it low, and it was just losing money that way. So not a great strategy.
Right.
So started looking at other avenues. And my dad, who is a tax preparer, he owned one duplex, and, his dream back in the day was to start with a duplex house hack, go up to a 4-unit, and then just keep scaling that way. And he kind of told me about that and got me excited. So that kind of got me interested, and, we can talk more about from there. But ultimately, I ended up meeting some friends and introduced me to, sounds like a similar community maybe to Investor Fuel. And, they've helped me educate me and grow my portfolio. So,
yeah, groups are either RIAs groups or even online groups. They really do help pour fuel onto the fire. That's what we try to do and just to help people with their education, and then see, just hearing stories of where somebody was, and then what they took action on, the successes, but more importantly, hey, this is where I messed up. This is where, you can learn something from me. That's where it's at. So your dad was a CPA. So it's funny. CPAs always know the tax code. They're supposed to. And so they know the wonderful reasons why someone should keep real estate. So what are yours? Why are you investing in real estate? And what are you particularly doing? What's your strategy today?
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
So the main reason I'm doing it is just it stands the test of time. It's not yes, it can, values can go down, but historically they've gone up, and it's not quite as volatile as the stock market. So there's all of those enticing features, but ultimately it's, I can use so much leverage to just scale quickly. And where I invest in the Midwest, cash flow is everything. And that's ultimately my goal, is to replace my W-2 income with real estate, cash flow from the real estate. So the passive nature is beautiful, and all those things too. So that's the main thing though for me, is cash flow, and then the fact that, yeah, of course the tax benefits don't hurt, right? My friend Nate and Tabitha, their first big deal was a 21 unit motel in northern Wisconsin. They paid a little over, I think it was 1.2 million, which out here in California, I'm like, yeah, you can get a house, like a 3-bedroom house maybe for that, right?
Right.
And the first year, because they did a cost segregation study, it accelerated all the depreciation. They put an extra $56,000 in their pocket just from the tax benefits, which is incredible. So lots of cool avenues. It's very easy to get shiny object syndrome in this space. So
yes, yeah. When somebody says they're in real estate, it's like, oh, well, that opens it up a lot. Yeah,
right.
You can do a lot.
Exactly.
So, but logistically, let's talk about that. You live in California, you invest in Wisconsin. Tell me, just break it down for me. How does it work? What's your SOPs like during the day, or what's your daily method of operation to make sure that you're getting inventory and you're able to do those deals?
Yeah. So, I've done deals from a various amount of sources. I've bought off the MLS. I've gotten a deal off Craigslist. I've gotten deals off Facebook Marketplace, Facebook groups, through referrals from property managers. I've even had my mom's friend, just because I post on social media, so everybody knows I'm in that space.
Right.
And randomly I'll get messages from people like, hey, I know you do real estate. So it was like my mom's friend's ex-husband's nephew or something was trying to sell their house. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to help them in that sense, but I talked to them, and it's just interesting, where leads can come from.
Right.
So, all sorts of sources like that. And then day to day, I do use a property manager, and you mentioned lessons learned. Well, definitely some lessons learned with that. It's great to have somebody in your team, but property manager is I feel, in buy and hold space, vesting out of state, you have to really, really have trust in that person, and they have to know what they're doing, and be able to give you good insights into what's going on at your property and keep tabs on it. So, you want to, if you're doing that, if you're doing the long distance, you want a really solid property manager, and you want to interview the heck out of them and check all their references. If they're doing any sort of rehabs for you, check all their past projects they've done and make sure you know what quality of work you're getting. So, lots of lessons learned in that space. I just hired 2 new property managers, did more due diligence this time around. And so, live and you learn. But
yep.
Some 2 cents there.
So in the state of Wisconsin, are you in multiple cities there, or you concentrate on a certain county, or what's that look like?
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency. It's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
Yeah, I mainly focus on, the eastern part it's right along Lake Michigan. So right now I just have properties in Milwaukee, Racine, which is just south of Milwaukee, and Manitowoc. But I'm also I would go a little bit inland over to, they call it like the Fox Valley area or the Fox Cities, which would be like maybe from Appleton, Oshkosh, Fond du Lac, that kind of area.
Is that near Baraboo as well?
No, Baraboo is more by Wisconsin Dells.
Okay, gotcha. The Dells.
Yeah, the Dells. Yeah, which is great. Like, that's a whole nother market, more touristy area. I don't know the policies with Airbnbs out there, but
Right.
they allow it and everything. That might be a good strategy out there. But yeah, so Milwaukee. Milwaukee's interesting because it's a big city, very spotty market. You can pay 600 grand for a house, or you can pay, 80 grand for a house, depending on what the neighborhood is. So yeah, this 5-unit I'm buying is my first one in Milwaukee, and we're actually going to be targeting Section 8 because it is a lower income community. And funny enough, like Section 8 rents there, I think it's similar to Chicago and like Gary, Indiana, places like that, where the approved payment standards are quite a bit higher, really, than the market rents in those areas, and it's obviously subsidized, so there's some benefits there. So, anyways, that'll also be my first experience getting in with Section 8. So
how did the lead come through with the multifamily? What did that look like? What's the origin story there?
Oh yeah, that one was interesting. So it was through Facebook Marketplace, but
All right.
first it was a wholesaler selling it on Marketplace. Okay, it was initially listed for 240,000, and the wholesaler got it under contract for like 267, which is like, okay, that's interesting that it's higher than what they're asking, but it was a very creative structure, and they had a large chunk of it with 0% financing over, I think it was like 8 years or 7 years or something. So in the long run, it was actually a solid structure. But if you run into issues within the first 3 years, you're going to be underwater, basically. So
Right.
I was kind of negotiating with her. I was trying to get the price down a little bit to compensate for those risks, but the seller wouldn't budge on it. And then I looked again at Marketplace, and the broker had put it on there separately. So I reached out to the broker. I said, hey, I thought this was under contract, by this wholesaler. And they told me that the wholesaler's in breach. They didn't pay their EMD, and so they're looking for secondary offers. So I just directly negotiated then with the broker, got it for the listing price, and they still were willing to sell or finance half of it at 3.5% interest only. So very creative deal. Yeah, there's so many lessons learned on this one too, but it's going to go through. I've got the challenge was the financing, because I had about 50% seller financed, second position loan. Most lenders wouldn't entertain that. And the ones that did were they had their own requirements. Some of them just had really high interest rates. And the one I ended up going with at first said no. They're a local credit union. They were okay with me being out of state because I had family there. I'm from
Right.
Wisconsin. So I was able to get in the door that way. But they didn't like my entity structure because I have a Wyoming holding company, and then that's owned by a California trust. So there's like all these states involved. They just weren't comfortable with it. So honestly, at the end of the day, I'm like, what if I just create a new LLC in Wisconsin, and I own the LLC, and we'll just go that way. And they were fine with it. So had to, get creative again, but found a way to make it work. So, and their
go ahead.
interest rates like 6.75%, which I haven't seen from any other source. So it's
so is there any
a little bit? Yeah, there's there's some. I'm probably going to put 25 or 30 grand into it. The biggest thing is the attic unit, which is the fifth unit. It's not really up to code. Like the electrical is got not just double tapping, but triple tapping in the panel. So a very handyman-ish job. It's got a furnace that works, but it's like from the 70s. So, and two of
when
the
they
units
made things a little bit better.
Yeah,
right.
Like it lasts, but I'm sure the efficiency is garbage. Right.
Right. Yeah.
And then there's two 2-bedroom units, including the attic, and they share electric and gas meters. So currently it's structured so that I'm paying those bills, which gas in the winter in Wisconsin is very expensive. So, and then you throw in the old furnace. So there's definitely efficiencies to be made there. And honestly, if I can go through Section 8, right now they're rented out for those 2-bedroom units, $850 and $950. Section 8, if you're including all utilities, Section 8 will pay $1,300, $1,350 for the same units. So even if I get a little bit less, even if I get $1,200, that's a huge uptick in cash flow and NOI and all that. So yeah, so.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
Awesome. So I like that deal. And so day to day, you're doing this part-time, but it sounds like you're doing like full-time work. So what's your full-time job and what were you doing before your full-time job? What did Chris' life look like before real estate? And maybe before 2020 and all the COVID nonsense, what did that look like?
Sure. Well, I grew up in Green Bay, actually. So, and right out of high school, 2008, I joined the Marine Corps. So spent 4 years, in the military, did some training in California, but mostly was stationed out on the East Coast in North Carolina and did a couple tours to Afghanistan during that time as well. So I didn't love those 4 years. I will say that. I met a lot of incredible people that are still friends today. And honestly, there's even people that if I haven't talked to them in 15 years and I'm in their city and I hit them up on Facebook, it's like we never got out of touch. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
I did that with a friend in Boston. And it was great just to catch up and see what they're up to. So, but the other advantage of that is how I got started in real estate is my first property I owned, I used a VA loan, so I didn't have to put any money down. And that was also during COVID. So the interest rate was low. And right after that, all of the prices shot up. So I got to, leverage the equity. But anyways, kind of going back after the military, moved out to California on my own, wanted to live in a big city, wanted to live in a warm area, and got my degrees in civil engineering from UCLA and then Stanford for grad school. So went that route, lots of schooling, got my engineering license, and and started working as an engineer. So yeah, that all kind of was leading up to COVID. My first job was in 2017. So yeah, everything was on track, going on track. And I still, I'm very grateful for that, for the profession and the fun projects I get to work on and stuff. It's just, I don't see myself doing this till I'm 65. I want to have a family. I want to have time to spend with that family. I don't have to worry about PTO. I see how much my boss works, and she has kids, pretty much as a single mom at this point, and she is just stressed out of her mind, and I'm just like, no in hell am I going to put myself in that position. So, not all engineers at her level are like that, but I've seen it a lot, and I just, with my work ethic, we're both from the Midwest. I just
Right.
feel like I could fall into that same trap if I only focused on the career. So yeah, I'm trying to build something bigger for myself and not limit what's possible.
Yeah, that's great. So, and that's seeing things the way they are, and then trying to, create your own future and not have it created for you. Most people, I got completely lucky. I also educated, not a civil engineer, didn't go to UCL or Stanford, went to the University of Arkansas, but I got into real estate right after I graduated, just based on an attorney's friend's advice, because I was doing my job, but it was paying very low, and you had student loans to pay off, and I was like, this ain't working out so well. So it's great that you see that, and you see something else, and you've got momentum. I mean, you're buying properties and you're doing multifamilies and you're learning. So what are some of the things that you've learned on your way, your personal experiences, maybe specific to the multifamily or some of the single family homes? What are some of the things that you've learned about this that you'd like to impart on, like, somebody that's coming up?
Sure. Yeah. There are a lot of things, so trying to rack my brain right now. But one thing is definitely for me, what's helped is as you mentioned, being a part of a group, a community, whatever that looks like, and getting in there and showing up frequently and often to show that you're serious and to really network and get to know people and folks there. Because look, if you're going to do wholesaling, you're going to need buyers for your property. If you're going to do buy and hold, you might need a wholesaler or brokers to help you find properties. You're gonna need contractors, all those folks. So I know some people want to just jump in. I think it's important to learn, not just from YouTube University, but to learn from folks that are in the industry. Because you don't know what you don't know.
Right.
And so if you're just sitting there watching YouTube, one, you don't know who you're learning from. You don't know when enough is enough before you take action.
Yeah.
And so whether it's a community, a mentorship, a coach, whatever it is, learn from folks doing it so that you have it just is going to boost your confidence and protect you. Definitely want to say, you want an LLC, you want insurance, don't cut corners no matter what you do. Do it by the book, because the book's there for a reason, right?
Right.
Practices are in place for a reason, and you don't want to get yourself into trouble legally or financially with any of that stuff. I mentioned the property manager. That's really big if you're doing this out of state, especially. And a big thing that I didn't think about at all when I got into this is just the value of networking. And not just even at real estate events or real estate groups, even just business, like Chamber of Commerce events, business networking events, hosting your own webinars, whatever you can do to get your name out there. You want everybody to know what you're doing. And then if you do get into multifamily, you're probably going to have to raise money unless you just got millions of dollars sitting around. So
who doesn't? Yeah.
Yeah, right. So, and even if you did,
Right.
if you want to really scale, you want to leverage other people's currencies. So, you might want to bring somebody on your first deal in multifamily who has experience. Maybe they don't even bring money to the deal, but you just want their shared experience and you give them a cut. So that's right. So you got those options. But the big thing is, the networking. And the more people, the better. Because when you actually start showing people deals, people get cold feet, and they don't know if they want to be locked in for 5 years or whatever it is. So, the bigger the net you can put out there, the better.
Yeah, it makes sense.
There's some things.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. So one of the things I always relay it back, and this is something I learned late, is because maybe it was a point of pride. but you're educated, you got a master's degree. And one of the things that we've, that I think maybe education hopefully will change in this regard is it wasn't until I in real estate kind of got a coach and got a mentor specific to somebody that was doing something where I want to be. And I had unpaid coaches and mentors, but then when I made the payment, it became something sort of like, oh, okay, now I'm really going to listen and I'm going to take action. And so doing that exploded what I've done. And I'm not the only one. If you're really serious about something, if you're really serious about civil engineering, what do you got to do? Well, you got to go get an education, right? You can't just be a civil engineer tomorrow without that education. And with real estate, it's the same thing. If somebody is doing the amount of work that you're doing, then figure out a way to either pay them as a coach or go to like you said, do your research, find out who's doing things, and then grab onto it. What's been a book? What's been a mentor that has had an effect on you, Chris?
Okay, so the first book I read, which I love, is and I might get the name wrong. It's Brandon Turner's very popular Bigger Pockets book. I think it's the book on rental property investments. Does that sound right to you? Yeah, I believe that's the name of it. That's a great book. I mean, the group I'm a part of, it's called Renatus, and it's a big national community. So just being a part of that group and the mentorship I get there is fantastic. I've also, and I mentioned Brandon Turner, I've also learned a lot from Grant Cardone and his programs. And actually, what you just said is exactly what he says is, hey, if you're doing all this stuff for free, you got nothing to lose. You got no skin in the game, right? But if you go down and if you put 20 grand into something or 10 grand or whatever it is, you put some skin in the game. If you're anything like me, you're going to make sure you get your money's worth, right?
Yes.
And so you're going to take it a lot more seriously. So Warren Buffett, talks about investing in yourself being the greatest investment you can ever make. It doesn't erode away to inflation. It keeps paying dividends year after year. And even if you don't use the information you learn right now to this moment today, it always finds a way to come back around and help you at some point, or maybe help somebody else in your network. So, you can't go wrong with that.
Yeah, that's awesome, Chris. So those are some good folks that obviously have a track record and they've had some success, and success leaves clues. So, all right. So Chris, from Green Bay, Wisconsin, and so Packer fan, I assume, or do you care at all?
Yeah. Big Packer fan, big cheesehead for sure.
Big cheesehead.
Love
awesome.
It.
Yeah. I have some family that live in there in Green Bay, and they go up to the Dells, I think, over there. So I've only been up to Wisconsin one time in my life. I'm in Memphis. We need to come up there. I guess in July. That's when Wisconsin's really nice, right?
Yeah, they've got Summerfest every year. I don't know if that's July or when that is, but yeah, Summerfest in Milwaukee is great. We've got the State Fair, Wisconsin Dells, lots of good things, and then just even like Door County is a popular place just north of Green Bay.
Right.
They're known for their vineyards and cherry wine. So, and just all sorts of mixed berry wines and stuff like that. So, they even have distilleries going up that way, fresh ice cream.
Wisconsin, they've got some cool. That is some cool stuff. I went to a Green Bay game in December against the Oakland Raiders about 7 or 8 years ago. It was epic. It was epic to go to that stadium and watch that game. Yeah, in Green Bay. Yeah. It was pretty wild.
That can be cold.
It was muy frio. It was very cold. Well, Chris, where can people find out more about you and what you're doing on the internet? Tell me about that.
Yeah, so I'm all over social media, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, all the stuff. Most of my handles are at the Flow Authority.
Okay.
But if you wanted to see all of my stuff, I'm actually going to be launching my website in a couple days here, theflowauthority.com. And then I also have my link tree, which is the Flow Authority as well.
Gotcha.
As the handle. So any of those, Linktree will have all the links. It'll have upcoming events that we got going on. So yeah, check it out, and you can book a call with me as well and just hit, chat, ask me any questions you want. I'm an open book, so
Awesome.
Happy to help.
Well, hey, Chris, thanks for being part of the Real Estate Pros podcast. Everybody go check out Chris's stuff. We'll have the link in the show notes for all the ways to find him. Again, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.